Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is literally what you've all been asking for the past like 6 months. It is tax. So we're doing the first part today because I haven't even done this first part, and I thought that I would show you how you do it just in case you had issues like me. I'm pretty sure that when I went on to do this I was having issues. So we are registering for self-assessment firstly. There seems to be a bit of a delay with tax, so I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously try and do things by the deadline, but like the deadline for this was October and it's now December, and I'm only just doing it because they didn't get my unique taxpayer number back to me in time. So that's obviously their delay opposed to mine. So I definitely would aim to do it by the deadline, but I don't think they'd be too worried because obviously it sounds probably a bit, I don't know, maybe wrong to say, I don't know, but they aren't worried about small businesses. The people that they're worried about, because they know that you're going to do your tax return eventually, you might have a few delays if you don't know what you're doing, but most of the time if you're honest about that, then they'll happily help you out. But they're more worried about like the big companies that aren't declaring their tax correctly. They aren't going to be coming after the small businesses like you and I, because they're not really that worried, if I'm honest. Obviously they want you to do your tax returns, but they know that you're going to do them, so they're not going to be calling you up if you're a day late. But obviously, like I say, try and keep to the deadlines, but this was completely out of my hands. So we finally got it after 3 months. So I have my letter. You have a little letter like this. It's got loads of personal details on it, so I can't show you, but yeah, it basically tells you what your reference is, and then yeah, so it's shown as our reference on the top of the letter is your unique taxpayer number, and that is what you put in when you register for self-assessment. I will be showing you all of that in a minute, and it tells you all the links to go to, so it completely walks you through it. It says that if you need to pay your, or like do your tax return before April, then they will send you a letter telling you how to do it. I have to do mine by the end of Jan. However, I believe they have extended it. My mum sent me some information which I might have a little look through halfway through this, which apparently says that they've extended it for self-employed people, but usually it's by the end of Jan. And then if you don't need to bother about doing it by the end of Jan, because this is for 2020 to 21, whereas anyone that started from April 21 won't have to worry about this because it won't be relevant, because the tax year hasn't ended yet, because they're always in arrears. So we have our letter, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm literally just gonna walk through this with you and we will figure it out. So today's video, we're just gonna be registering, filling out all the info. Fingers crossed it's self-explanatory, just to show you where you need to be going, the websites, etc. So I have my computer, so I'm gonna pop to the corner of the screen and I will pull up my computer so that you can see everything that I'm doing. So as you can see, I've just typed in Gov.uk self-assessment. The Gov.uk is the government website where you submit tax returns, VAT returns. Yeah, you can find employment on there. There's loads of stuff, but you just want to type in self-assessment. That's all we're worried about. So as you can see, there's various things that you can do on here, and it's got lots of, I find it has lots of subcategories, so it might be a bit confusing for first timers, but I've been on the website quite a few times for various things like changing tax codes, new jobs, anything like that, and also when I did accounting I had to research a few things on here, but what you want to be going to is, obviously it says self-assessment tax returns, bit of a mouthful. And what we're looking at, as you can see, there's just loads of information, and you want to go to registering and sending a return because that's all that you're worried about. There obviously is information about deadlines which you can click on if you're concerned. So the deadline for paper forms is the 31st of October. I am not sending a paper form, I'm sending a digital one. So it is the 31st of January, and this is what you want to click on. So it depends what type of business you are. If you're registering a partner or partnership, so if you're like a partner of a business, then you would click on that. Not self-employed, which I am not sure what that covers, but it won't be relevant to you guys because you will be self-employed. And then there is self-employed or sole trader, which is what we want to click on. So register if you are self-employed. If you have to send a tax return and did not send one last year, you need to register for both self-assessment and national insurance. Register by the 5th of October in your business's 2nd year. So this is what I did. So I started in 2020, which is so confusing to me because it really seems like it wasn't that long ago. So my 2nd year is 21 because it runs from April to April. So then from April 21, that would have been my 2nd year or my 2nd financial year. So I registered by the 5th of October, which is when I wanted this letter. And then it took 3 months for them to get back. So it says, if you have not filled out a tax return before, if you've filled one out before, you'll probably not be watching this video. So I'm not gonna go into detail about that. But you need to register for self-assessment and class 2 national insurance. So you log into a business tax account. You should make one of these. I've already made one. And then you'll need a government user ID and password, which you register and they provide you with. You obviously make up your own password. If you don't have that, then you create one, like I said, and you'll receive your letter with your UTR, and it says within 10 days. I received mine within 3 months, so do not be alarmed if it takes longer than 10 days. You can try and call them, but they are the hardest company to get hold of, honestly. Whenever I've had issues with like tax codes or anything, it's very difficult to get hold of HMRC, and they also just scare me. I hate tax people. So you'll receive a reminder letter email telling you when to complete your self-assessment. I'm not sure whether mine's delayed because mine's due at the end of January and I haven't received anything. Obviously I received this letter really late, so I didn't want to risk waiting, so that's why I'm on there doing it. So you click on business tax account and then that will bring you to your login, and obviously I've logged in because it's all private info, and then it brings you to here. So it says you've not added tax to your business tax account because I didn't have the ID, so it's just not on there yet. I've created an account but I haven't added it. So it says add tax duty or scheme now, so click on that. By the way, I have no idea where I'm or what I'm doing from this point on, so it may take a little while. So what do you want to add? Corporate tax, pay, self-assessment for individuals is what we want. I don't have any employees, and VAT is when you're earning over 40 grand a year, I think, or maybe it's 100. It's a lot. Basically, we don't need VAT. We don't need it yet. Do you have a unique taxpayer reference? Yes. So we click yes. I'm going to type in mine and you're not going to see it. So there we go. Right, all typed in. So which of these best describes you? I'm an individual or a sole trader. I'm not a limited company. There were various things I spoke about in one of my videos, so try and go back and find it, or I'll put it below. But basically a sole trader is an individual when you're like self-employed, whereas a limited company basically separates you from the business. So although you can still do that if you're completely on your own and don't have any employees, it's more recommended for people that have employees because then you get different PAYE, like when you're paying your employees and like sick pay and tax and all of that kind of stuff. It's very complicated. So as I was saying, it's very complicated, but basically it's more beneficial if you want all of the kind of responsibility to be on the business. So it basically means if you go bankrupt, they won't come to you technically. They may if they know enough about the business, but because the business is separate from you as an individual, then they wouldn't necessarily come to you for any debt and things like that. And it's more you'd get like a black mark on the business. Whereas if you're a sole trader and any kind of debt or any issues came up, you're responsible because you're a sole trader, so there's only you. That's obviously not the main thing, but that's the main thing that I took from it. I didn't really understand the difference apart from that. Like I say, there were different things in terms of wages, how you pay your employees, the fact that you can pay dividends. So because it's a company and you're not connected to it, you can pay yourself dividends as if you're like the CEO. So it's basically extra wages. Whereas self-employed, it's typically that the money just goes straight into your account. You're not paying yourself, the money's just in there anyway. Or like other people pay you. It just works very differently, but I would recommend if you're just an individual and you don't plan to open a shop or anything like that, then I'd go as sole trader. But like I say, you can call up and change it. I've already decided that if I was to open a shop or expand in any way, then I would just call up and request to change it, and that is definitely possible. So yeah, sole trader is the one if you're an individual, and that's what I am. So yeah, that is that. My national insurance number, so again, we'll cut this out. Got to remember it off the top of my head. Hopefully it's right. So this is just checking information, so it's not personal really. So your first name, your last name, my date of birth, in case you're wondering how old I am. Right, national insurance number, again, put your own in, obviously. I am putting mine in. Right, so they need some personal info. I need to find some... Oh, I think I had this issue last time. We may have an issue doing this because I don't have one of these items. So we may have to bomb this off basically. But the next thing is that you have to confirm details on 2 of these items. I thought that doing it the way that I did it would work. Okay, that's annoying. Okay, so you either have to give your passport, P60, credit details, or for Northern Ireland I think you use a driving licence. However, I don't have a P60 because I'm self-employed. Basically, you get a P60 for every year that you're employed with a business. So it means that April of each year you will get a P60, and that is when the end of the tax year ends. So you get your P60 and that has all your details on, and what they ask you to do is they'll say, right, how much did you earn in that year net? And then you will type in the number that is on your P60, so you can't get it wrong because it's on your P60. Whereas I don't have one of these because for the past few years I've either been self-employed or I haven't kept a job for very long. So before I was baking, the most recent jobs I had were from like say July to May. So then I didn't get one because I wasn't there for the whole April to April. So I haven't got a P60. And then the credit references, I've basically, if you have like loans, credit cards, all that kind of stuff, they ask you questions about that. And I had questions about my car loan and it said they were wrong. And they weren't wrong because I had all the details in front of me. So they asked you about 20 questions. So I would probably recommend doing what I'm going to do, which is requesting an activation code, which is sent to you by post. Hopefully it won't take 3 months. So I'm going to request that. And then that means that they'll send me that and I don't have to worry because I know already that as soon as I do those questions, they're not going to be right because they weren't right last time. But I thought by registering for this taxpayer number that it would mean that I didn't have to do that, but I still do. So if you don't have 2 of those items, which most people probably won't because I don't have a P60 and the credit information is so extensive. Like, it's literally 20 questions, and if you get one of them wrong, then the whole thing is like refused. So it's a right pain. So you've requested access to self-assessment. You'll receive an activation code in the post within 10 days. You'll need to use the activation code to get access to your self-assessment. So I will block out any numbers that I need to block out, but basically, as you can see, this is kind of what it looks like as a summary. So you can still add stuff to your account, add schemes, add tax, etc. And then it says that they will post the activation code to me, and then you click on the activate self-assessment, and then you type in your code, and then hopefully we will have a part 2 to this, and then I will show you what it kind of looks like from that side. And then I am going to be doing another video on everything you need to have. So as far as I'm aware, which is going to be really, like, it's going to sound really bad, but basically you need a paper trail for all your transactions. So I'm going to be using QuickBooks. So let's do it now, QuickBooks, because I actually don't have it, so I need to sign up. So we might as well do this now. So hopefully it's not crazy expensive. I haven't even looked. Okay, perfect. For small businesses working with suppliers, manage VAT, income tax up to 3 users. For director only or small businesses who need to manage VAT and income tax, I need to do tax. So is that different? Submit VAT directly to HMRC, send invoices, manage income and expenses, accept and make payments in 3 different currencies, 3 users, manage bills, get tax. Which one do we want? Prepare for self-assessment. Simple Start. Okay, so Simple Start has everything that we need as far as I can see. So that is the one that we're going to go for, which is so HMRC recognised timesheets, pay employees. No, we don't need that. Generates payslips. No, I don't need payroll. So you don't need payroll unless you have employees. So what do I want to do? So for 4 months it's £6 each month, and then after that it goes back up to £12, which is convenient because I can probably, actually I'll probably need it all year round, so it's fine. But otherwise, if you were strapped for money, then you could technically cancel and then start back up again in January next year, do it for like a couple of months, because I'll need it again in April, but I will need it for all the invoices, so that's fine. So email, password, there we go. So I'm just going to sign up, so bear with, I have to do all my card details. Yep, right. Okay, so we have QuickBooks. We've signed up to that, so I will do another video on that because, again, I have no idea what I'm doing with that. So basically, there will be videos on everything that you need in order to do your tax returns, all of that. I don't know why I've gone so white. So I don't know what's happening with the camera. You will see a video that is going to be everything you need for your tax returns, because like I say, I was getting to it, but it's going to sound really bad, but I don't do invoices. I only do invoices for very large orders, especially wedding cakes, but I don't do them for standard cakes, which again, it's bad, but it is very time consuming, but it's definitely something that I am doing in the new year. QuickBooks, it's not an ad or anything, but obviously I just paid for it, but like, I know that it's very good because my whole family uses it, because we're a family of all pretty much self-employed. So I think actually, yeah, we are all self-employed now. It used to be that some of us were working for people, but we're all self-employed now. So they use QuickBooks, so I know that it's good, and you can generate invoices on there. And basically once you've done one, it kind of saves a template, so then it will make it a lot easier for me, whereas currently I make my own on Word and I use my own template, but it's a lot more hassle than QuickBooks will be. And also when it comes to your transactions, you can upload your bank statements and then you just tick off what transactions were business, what were personal, anything like that. So again, it's very easy to use in that sense, and then you just upload that for your tax return, and then they'll be able to calculate how much you spent that year, how much you earned, and then it is, I'm not certain because again, I didn't like tax when I did accounting, so I didn't really take too many notes, but as far as I'm aware, if you spent more than you earned, then you get a rebate, and if you earned more than you spent, then you have to pay tax. So it will be a definite that I will get a rebate, because obviously there were a lot of startup costs in my first year. So when you buy any equipment, so like my KitchenAid, all that kind of stuff, that is all going on the tax return, and then that will be a rebate because it's things that you bought, material costs, so that will cause a rebate because there's going to be a lot more cost than how much I've earned. So that is pretty much a summary. I think I've covered everything for this video. There's obviously going to be a lot more because there are so many parts, so many things to consider, but I will do a video on QuickBooks and just show you around it once I've got a few invoices on there, so that I can I'll do a few dummy invoices so that I can show you how it works, how to create an invoice, how to upload bank statements, that kind of thing, just so you get an idea of what it looks like. And I will also be doing obviously very in-depth videos on tax returns and how to submit them, and also how to like write them up and what to include, everything like that, how to divide things into different categories, because when you do your accounts there should be different categories. So there is things like material costs, then there's direct materials, indirect, which is, so direct would be ingredients because that is directly used on the product, whereas indirect might be like my fridge because it is not directly being used to make the thing, or like uniform because it isn't used to make the item that you're selling, but it is still a material cost for the business. Then there's like wages, there's postage costs, there's so many different things. So yeah, we will cover all of that in the videos, but there is definitely a lot to come, and it will all be coming this month because I have a deadline. My camera cut out because I was talking for too long, but yeah, I hope that that was helpful in some way. Obviously if you haven't registered for self-assessment, then that will show you how. There will be a part 2 to just show you the last bit where I get my activation code and I put that all in, and you can just see what it looks like from that end once you have an account, what it all looks like once you're logged in a sense, just so that you can see the kind of workings of the website. And then I will also be doing the QuickBooks one. I'm probably going to do that next week because I have a few evenings off next week, whereas this week I was working during the day every day, but I was also working all my evenings, so I'm going to have a lot more free time next week. Well, only in the evenings, but it's fine. So we will be doing that, and I will get that out for you as soon as possible. If you have any questions, please let me know down below because I plan to answer them all in these videos. So if you have any questions on tax, please pop them down below and I will make a list, and then whenever they're relevant I will include them in the video, and if they're not relevant then I will do like a tax Q&A for anyone that needs extra details. So as I said, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!